Good morning, everyone. My name is Zarit Sofia binti Suhairi, and today I will be presenting my individual assignment for Fin 674 titled Rising Corporate Debt in Malaysia and its Impact on Financial Stability. This topic is not only timely but also very relevant, especially after the implementation of new SST rate on 1st July 2025. To summarize the issue, Malaysia corporate debt has risen sharply, reaching 350 billion in 2024 with bond issuance at 124.2 billion. This is due to a mix of low interest rate in the previous year and aggressive expansion strategy. However, with interest rate rising and SST now at 8%, many businesses, especially SMEs, are struggling to manage this debt. In this presentation, I will explain how the problem developed, its risk, and what can be done about it. The root of this issue lies in how accessible borrowing has been in recent years. Many companies use debt to fund growth, taking advantages of Malaysia's strong bond market, but things changed in 2025 with the SST high. That additional 2% doesn't seem like much, but for businesses with a tight margin, it makes a huge difference. The goal of this study is to explore the causes, risks, and solution to this problem. Mechanism of the issue. Here's how it all happened. First, Bank Negara Malaysia kept interest rate low, which made borrowing cheap. Many capital-heavy industries like construction and real estate took on more loans or issue bonds. However, not all companies managed this responsibility. Some lacked financial discipline, and now, with the SST increase and rising interest rate, the cost of debt is much harder to bear. The more company borrow, the less liquidity they have, and that raises fault. Problem with the current situation. Let's look at the consequence. First, many firms are now struggling to service their debt with declining interest coverage ratio. Second, risk of default and credit downgrade is increasing. Third, SST is hurting demand, so revenue is dropping. The government has limited room to help, and if more companies start defaulting, banks could be affected. This became a systematic risk for the economy. Impact on SMEs. Small and medium-sized enterprises are feeling this the most. They usually have thinner profit margin, fewer financial resources, and higher exposure to floating rate loan. The SST added extra costs, pressure, and many SMEs are struggling to repay or refund their loans. This put jobs at risk and may even lead to permanent closure if left unchecked. Impact on SMEs. Small and medium-sized enterprises are feeling this the most. They usually have thinner profit margin, fewer financial resources, and higher exposure to floating rate loan. The SST added extra costs, pressure, and many SMEs are struggling to repay or refund their loans. This put jobs at risk and may even lead to permanent closure if left unchecked. How to overcome the issue? So, how do we solve this problem? First, company needs stronger financial governance and better debt planning. Regulators should monitor debt and levels to enforce responsible borrowing. Malaysia also needs to promote equity and alternative financing options like sukuk or venture capital. For a company already in distress, restructuring program and temporary tax relief should be made available. Financial models and theories. Let me now relate the solution finance theory According to the trade-off theory, there's a balance between tax benefit of debt and the cost of financial distress. In Malaysia case, many firms treat too far forward debt. The pecking order theory suggested firms should prioritize internal financing, something SMEs often skip. Lastly, the value at risk model helps us measure repayment risk in uncertain conditions. These theories guide us in building better financial strategies. Here's the conclusion. In conclusion, Malaysia's rising corporate debt poses serious financial risks, especially when combined with new tax policies like the SST increase. However, with the right reform, grounded in financial theory, we can reduce our reliance on debt, protect businesses, and strengthen the overall economy. It's not about avoiding debt entirely, but using it wisely. That's all from me. Thank you.